Sirens screamed from every side. The silver car slid on wet pavement and slammed nose first into a ditch. Steam hissed from the hood. A deputy shouted, "Hands up! Don't move!" A giant man inside the car, Casey, looked stunned. Next to him sat the jail guard who had helped him run, Vicky, her hands shaking, her face pale. Blue and red lights flashed on their faces. Tires crunched closer. More guns pointed. The road smelled like hot metal and rain. "Casey, don't," Vicky whispered, voice breaking. He turned, searching her eyes. For a second the world went quiet, like it was holding its breath. Then an engine roared behind the police line. Doors slammed, boots pounded the ground, and someone yelled, "We've got them boxed in." This is a moment the world would remember. A jail guard who fell in love with a killer, trapped at the end of a chase. But to understand how they reached this ditch on a rainy road, we have to go back. Back to bright mornings, locked doors, and small choices that turn into a storm. Earlier, the jail in Lauderdale County buzzed like a beehive every day. Keys clinked. Radios crackled. Doors boomed shut. Inmates lined up for count and chow. Officers walked the same loops until their boots knew every scuff in the floor. It was a busy place, but people said one name with calm respect. Vicky. She was steady. She knew the rules by heart. She trained new officers. She could talk to an angry inmate and make the room go quiet. On a gray morning, the jail got a new sound, heavier footsteps, a voice that rolled low, a laugh that didn't reach the eyes. A 6'9" man with long arms and prison tattoos stepped into intake. His name was Vicky White. He was not in jail for a little thing. He had a long record, the kind that makes officers read the file twice. The paperwork said murder. It said dangerous. It said use caution. Vicky read it, signed where she had to sign, and kept her face steady. "Follow commands," she told him, voice firm. Casey nodded and watched her with interest, like a person seeing a puzzle he wanted to solve. Days turned into weeks. Casey learned the jail's rhythms fast. He watched who brought the meal carts. He learned which doors opened slow. He memorized the times when officers changed shifts and the halls were thin. He was a man who used time like a tool. Vicky didn't treat him soft. She treated him the same as the others. Straight, fair, no games. But fair can feel like kindness to someone who lives on hard edges. When Vicky spoke, Casey listened. When she gave a command, he followed. Other officers noticed and felt a tiny breath of relief. A big, dangerous inmate who stayed calm around the shift commander? Good. Easier days. Then came small moments that didn't seem like much. Vicky stood a little longer at his door to check a form. He said, "Thank you, ma'am," with that low voice and a careful smile. He called her Miss Vicky, respectful. He asked for extra paper for a request form. She slid it through the slot. He made a joke about the awful coffee. She almost smiled before she stopped herself. A seed planted. Weeks went by. Casey was moved between units, between county and state, between old charges and new hearings. Each move needed clearance. Each clearance crossed Vicky's desk. Paperwork stacked in her hands. His name showed up again and again. Somewhere in the shuffle of days, lines blurred. He started to talk to her through the slot about small things, whether food, stupid TV shows, and then bigger things, worry, regret, fear. "I'm not the monster they say," he murmured once. "I just need a chance to start over." It was the kind of line a practiced manipulator uses. It was also the kind of line a tired person wants to believe. Vicky's life outside the jail was quiet and heavy. She had worked there for years. She was close to retiring. People said she was reliable. They also said she was lonely. She took care of others. She didn't ask for help. Some nights she drove home past the same gas station, the same fields, the same dark road. She could have made that drive with her eyes closed. The sameness pressed on her like a weight. Casey could smell that kind of weight. He was good at finding cracks. He said things that sounded gentle. He told her she was different. He said she was the only one who treated him like a human. He wrote notes in neat block letters. He told her he had dreams of quiet mornings with coffee and a yellow dog. People with long records don't sell the wild dream first. They sell the small, soft one, the one that feels safe. Vicky did not jump in one day. She stepped in inch by inch. She bent a rule just a little. She let him use a phone a minute longer. She walked his paperwork down herself instead of sending a runner. She looked the other way when he asked a small favor that didn't feel like harm. Each small step made the next one easier. Each, just this once, drew a new map inside her head. Casey started asking about rides to court and doctor visits. Vicky knew the transport schedule by heart. She knew which days were thin. She knew who could be asked to cover for who. She started to change shifts. She started to sell things and pay off loans. Co-workers joked she must be getting ready to retire in style. She smiled and said nothing. A plan grew. It sounded simple because simple feels safe. Casey would need to leave the jail for a mental health visit. Vicky could take him. "I'll bring him back," she told the duty desk, voice steady as always. "I'll be quick." She put the trip on the board. No one argued. She had earned trust for years, brick by brick. That trust opened the gate. Early one morning, hours before that rainy ditch and the flashing lights, Vicky signed out a transport car. She wore her uniform, crisp as ever. Her hair was neat. Her badge was straight. She rolled the wheelchair to the door, even though Casey could walk. The chair was part of the trick. Make it look like a medical trip, like a simple errand on a simple day. Casey came out in a tan jumpsuit, hands cuffed in front, chains at his ankles. He kept his eyes down like a man who knew he was watched. The Sally Port gate, the big one between inside and out, buzzed. Steel groaned. Light from the parking lot spilled across the concrete, like a line they were not supposed to cross. They crossed it. Vicky helped him into the back seat. The chains clinked. The seatbelt clicked. The gate rolled shut behind them with a deep boom. She signed the log with a practiced hand. Out for appointment. Back by lunch. They pulled away. Past the yard. Past the tower. Past the last curve where officers can still see your bumper and wave you on. At the first stoplight, Vicky's hands tightened on the wheel. Casey looked up in the mirror. Their eyes met. 1 second. 2. Something passed between them. That was not about rules anymore. "Are you sure?" he asked, a whisper like a thread. Vicky swallowed. "I'm sure," she said, voice small but firm. They did not turn toward the clinic. They turned the other way. Back at the jail, a deputy checked the appointment book and frowned. He called the clinic. "No, sir," the voice on the other end said. "We don't have him scheduled today." The deputy's frown turned into a knot in his stomach. He called the duty sergeant. The sergeant checked the parking lot camera. He checked the log. He checked Vicky's timesheet. He looked at the clock. The hands did not lie. "Radio it," he said. In the transport car, Vicky's phone buzzed again and again. She turned it face down on the seat. Casey sat still in the back, watching her through the cage divider. Chains quiet, eyes bright with strange, careful hope. They pulled into a lot behind a shopping center. She moved fast, like someone stepping over hot coals. She opened his door. She unlocked his cuffs. His hands came free, and the air seemed to shift around them. "Change quick," she said, handing him clothes from a bag, jeans, a jacket, a cap. He moved fast, tall frame folding and unfolding like a crane. He looked like a different man in seconds. They ditched the transport car and moved to another vehicle waiting under a tree, a car bought with cash. No name that would ring a bell at the DMV. The engine turned over. Vicky pulled out onto the main road, then the highway, then back roads at crossfields and dipped behind small houses. Every mile took them farther from the jail, deeper into a story that would soon break across TV screens in every living room. Back at the jail, alarms began to stack. Dispatchers called state police. Phones lit up. Newsrooms woke. Friends texted friends. "Did you hear?" Vicky took him out. No one wanted to believe it at first. Then everyone believed it at once. A wanted poster went live online. It had two faces side by side, the guard and the killer. On the run, days blurred. They switched cars. They changed plates. They paid cash for motel rooms under fake names. Always for one night, never two. Casey stayed close to the door. Vicky checked the curtains every hour. They ate out of bags. They watched TV with the sound low. The news ran their pictures over and over. "If you see them, do not approach," a reporter said. "Call 911. In a quiet motel room, rain tapping the window, Vicky stared at the screen and saw her own face next to the word wanted. She felt her stomach drop like a stone. Casey turned the volume all the way down and sat beside her. "We're almost there," he said. Even though there was no there, that made sense anymore. She took his hand. It shook. The chase ended like most chases do, not in a movie moment, but in a messy slide and a hard stop. A tip came in. A plate matched. A deputy turned down the right street. Tires squealed. Metal groaned. Gravel flew. The silver car hit the ditch. Steam rose. Sirens closed in from every direction. In the car, time slowed again. Vicky's breath came fast and shallow. Casey's hands lifted half an inch. Paws dropped. The road filled with blue and red and loud words. The world pressed its face to the window. "Vicky," Casey said softly. She squeezed her eyes shut. "Outside," Boots thumped. A voice shouted, "Hands out the window. Now!" Casey reached for the latch. Vicky's hand moved faster. And that is where this chapter stops. Right here, at the exact second before the choice that would end the chase and write the last line of their run.